Content warning. The following show contains discussions of fictitious violence, tobacco smoking, possible potty mouth language, and a few things about life that might make people feel a bit uncomfortable. But I assure you, if some of the things that we talk about may affect you, you're not being attacked, you're only being seen. That being said, viewer discretion is relatively advised. How was that? Well, honestly, you could have sped up your cadence when you speak. Are you ever happy? If I was, you wouldn't keep me on. I'm going to start the music now. Hey everybody, how you doing out there? What is going on? What is the word today? I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. Yeah, I just winked. I even made the little click noise because I'm from the 80s, and I can't reach through the screen and go, hey. So, welcome to the dark side of the room. This is the show where you and I talk about stuff. Sometimes gaming, sometimes life, sometimes really just wherever our whims take us, but mostly gaming, and how playing games can actually help us in living a life in the 21st century outside of this media, or involving this media landscape and all that jazz. But if you guys really, and I mean this, if you really have any questions or comments or anything like that, well, all you gotta do is pull up, and I mean this, just pull up your email. Just pull up your email and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out to me over on Instagram or Twitter, also at backinthedeck. There's also a way to get a hold of me if you're not 40 years old and you actually understand social media in ways that, I don't. And that is, you can totally reach out at TikTok, or them TikToks as those kids like to call it, at BidP. That's BIDPY. You can also, if you are part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, you can reach out to us by joining the Deckers on the Book. That is actually a free group. We don't do data mining. We don't do any of that stuff, at least no more than Facebook itself does. And yeah, real talk, you can just totally kick it with us, talk to us about the stuff that you're painting, the games that you're playing, and all of those things. It's pretty cool. So, do all that stuff. Of course, I do have to say, if you guys find value in what we're doing and you want to help keep us open, make sure to comment on YouTube, push that thumbs up and all that stuff. And if you're watching on Twitch, well, that also is pretty cool. Couple of ways that you can do. I just put up some donation buttons and the link to our Patreon, which is cool, in the chat. I want you guys to know I'm wearing a turtleneck and I'm here in Southern California. And what does that mean? It means it is super hot. Okay, it is back up to about 82 degrees, and I'm like, yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I'm liking being here under all that stuff. But if you want to subscribe here on Twitch, that would be awesome. I'm recommending that you use your Amazon Prime account so that you can subscribe for free. It helps us out a lot, and I really appreciate it. So I'm not quite sure how fast my internet is running today, and I can never quite figure out the users that are in the chat versus the viewers and stuff. I just don't know how Twitch does all that stuff. So we are going to move along with the show. All right. So that is what we're going to do because, yeah, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of stuff there. Now, what we are doing today is I've been meaning to talk about Warhammer 10th edition, but I'm a little bit stuck because I don't play Warhammer and I would be going in as a newer player, okay, which isn't bad. Because that being the case, I am literally who Games Workshop made the game for. I'm a new player. I'm not part of the tournament scenes. I'm not part of the culture or what they call the Warhammer hobby. Although I play a bunch of other miniatures games. Okay, a bunch. And here is the thing about playing various miniatures games, just playing various games of any kind. And this is something that I want to warn you guys about. Okay, this is a really big warning because you might find yourself in a situation that I'm in. But if you have a tight gaming group or you're willing to join somebody's gaming group, and when I say tight, I don't mean exclusive or, exclusionary. I mean people that love getting together. They love playing games versus they love playing a particular game. Then yeah, you can have a really big library. And when I put the announcement on there today, I'm like, you know what? Join the discussion and check out what we're doing. And maybe, just maybe, this will hit your library. All right. Now I've talked about a lot of things on the channel over the years, okay? Just through the years, I've talked of games and game techniques, and I've talked about this game quite a bit, all right? One of the things I was trying to do is I wanted to film an instructional video, but there are a few places out there that actually film an instruction video a lot better than I can. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's what we are going to deal with. Let me just double check here. So I want to start off by saying this, okay? I am an interesting fellow in the sense that I love science fiction. Okay? I really do. I love science fiction. Now, me being a mini war gamer and loving science fiction, a lot of you guys are probably going, you know what? He loves science fiction. He probably loves Warhammer 40K because of the lore. And I'm not going to lie. I'm really not going to lie. I do like the Warhammer 40K lore, okay? I think the lore is very cool. Except it's very grim dark. And as you guys know, I'm a person of color that lives, hey, Con, I'm a person of color that lives in the United States, okay? So when it comes to the grim darkness of any setting, guys, I grew up in the hood in the 80s and the 90s where death was literally around every door, and I survived a few school shootings when I was a child, amongst a few other things. So what does that mean? That means when I look at my fiction, I'm not always looking for grim dark. If I'm going to play something, I'd like to play around in a place that's different or hopeful, or if it's going to be speculative and dark, like I can take grim, I can take dark, but grim and dark. What I will say is this. As I get older, I lose my tolerance for both grim and dark. Oh, you know, but I do like science fiction. I'm so much of a Trekkie. It is crazy. And yes, I love Strange New Worlds. After you're done with this show today, you should check out Nerd Soul's YouTube channel because he and I actually have weekly discussions on Strange New Worlds or pretty much any Star Trek show as it comes out. So your guys' support helps us do that and gives me a reason to keep paying for Paramount Plus. Now, um, and so when I look at the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, I'm going, all right, I love the absurdity. I really do. I love the absurdity of Warhammer 40K. But a lot of players out where I am don't see the satire. So sometimes I got to be like, yeah, okay, guys, you can talk about that. By the way, Magnus did nothing wrong. Run, 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 run. But yeah, it's a thing. I will still say that the Emperor of Mankind is the worst father on earth, like worst father ever. I really, really, really thought it was Joe Kennedy for the longest time, and then I started looking into the Warhammer 40K lore. Thank you, Carthulu. Yes, it is a fine line between dark and joyless. So I'm always looking for new games, and we got a donation a few years ago of a bunch of stuff for Deadzone by Mantic Games, which Mantic Games, for a little bit of a history, the dudes that created Games Workshop back in the 80s did some really cool stuff. Okay, did some really cool stuff with Warhammer 40K, and it was totally, totally absurd and kind of funny. Just look back at the stuff. Um, Look back at the stuff from the old days of Rogue Trader before Games Workshop became GW. Because there was a turning point. I think that turning point was 5th edition. Anyway, um, and around that time, when the turning points come, the people who created the games said, okay, guys, look, our game mechanics are a little, and we want to do some other stuff um with the game. So let's evolve the game. And the shareholders, what about the shareholders? The shareholders said, "No, this is making us that money. You don't like it, walk." So he sold all of his dice or all of his stock and walked, you know? Uh Okay, you know what? Saburo Arasaka, I'm not getting into anime dads. Okay, I'm not doing that. Because, one, I'm about 10 years behind on anime, but I will say this. Okay, my days of anime were Gundam, Evangelion, Full Metal Alchemist. Bad dads all around. Although, let's just say the sick part of me is happy that a little girl and her dog will never part. Anyway, um, that was terrible. I know. Please send all emails to yeah, I know Hanako Osaka was cool, but you guys know what I mean. Saburo Arasaka. Yeah, it's true. He's a bad father. And I know Heihachi Fushima is there and all that stuff. But still, yeah, I'm there. Biggie, still worst dad ever. Um, but I took a look at Dead Zone because somebody donated it, and I'm like, these figures look kind of cool, and I want to learn how to play it. But if you guys are like me and have a thick library of games, one of the difficulties, okay, and I will state it like that, it is a difficulty. One of the difficulties that you may come across in your time is finding people to play with. Okay, there is a level of ubiquity inside gaming circles. Mm, okay, a lot of 40K players learn 40K, invested in 40K, and that is it. That is all. That is what they are doing. Period. That is the everything. Okay, that is the everything. That is all they are going to do. They are sucked into sunken cost and all that jazz. Do 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 do. Yeah, they are in the sunken cost. That's all they're gonna do. And this led me down a weird path for a while where I would provide all the gaming materials that people needed to try a new game. When I was in a Star Trek Attack Wing, I'm like, dude, I got like 3 different factions from Star Trek. Let's try and play the game. Um, and this was now my game crowd was War Machine. It wasn't Warhammer 40K, but the mindset is very similar. And this comes from the idea. No, 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 Neon. You're not going under your bridge because that was a good joke, and I haven't talked about them. And I'm going to talk about them briefly a little bit later because I got some thoughts. Not many, but just some. I got some thoughts on those guys. Um, but again, I came here for joy and happy and all that stuff. So I looked up some instructional videos, of which there aren't very many for Deadzone. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this. And the donation came thick. This was from a group of gamers that wanted to do this instead of Warhammer 40K. And they poured in the same investment to this game as they did into 40K. And I will tell you this. We've gone over this in the past. Check the YouTube archive under live. You will see this is not the first Dead Zone show that we've done, but I did a cost comparison of the starter kits and the different teams, and yeah, Dead Zone is much more value for money, much more bang for your buck. And if you guys are not new to the channel, y'all know how I am about recycling your stuff. All right. The different factions in the game are very reflective of Warhammer 40K, between the Enforcers and the Space Marines, the Astarians and the Eldar, just all the way down. There's a couple of unique factors, but these guys had Space Dwarves before 40K did the whole squat things. Yes, vermin, yeah, before 40K re-released the Space Dwarves. And I like the lore on the Forge Fathers a lot better. Not to mention, and this is a really, really big one. The setting is not grim dark. It's closer to cyberpunk with, as what I can say is, a lot of corporatocracy and stuff. I would say the 3 main different factions, aren't in 40K, but they are kind of pastiches of different houses from Necromunda. So if you've got all that stuff, you can pick up the rule book, with the little tokens, for about $35, and then for another $9, you'll get another gaming component, that you'll need for this game. But there's also a chart, that I will put up in the Discord for all of the special rules, and the special dice are D6s, and they have a conversion table. So, honestly, you don't really need a whole lot to invest into this game as what I call a palate cleanser. When I was playing War Machine all the time, sometimes I needed a palate cleanser. You Magic the Gathering players know what I'm talking about. You'll play like 3 or 4 games of Magic the Gathering and pull out your Flux deck or your Pokemon deck. Just something to clean the palate, something to rest the brain. And, excuse me, Dead Zone is a very skirmish level game, which I dig, and it's what I play instead of learning how to play Kill Team, okay? Along with the one-page rule stuff, and one-page rules has a lot of pastiches for this as well, because they essentially base the game off of the Games Workshop stuff and the Mantic stuff. So I was very happy when I saw that. Again, Neon Arlecchino is out there going, vermin, vermin, vermin. And yeah, I too love myself the cool little rat people. That's actually a very cool thing that I'm digging on that. But today, I figure I will give you guys a very quick tutorial because it's a sci-fi setting. It's not grim dark. It plays very fast, and you play it on a 2-foot by 2-foot board. I know you can get the playmats from Mantic Games for about $35-40, or you can seriously, take one of your many game mats like I did and put a grid on it in pen. I mean, it really is that simple. If you've got really, really, really thin, like auto body detail tape, you can tape on the 3x3 grid and not really mess up your thing. But still, I have a board, but we're not going to be looking at the board today because I've got a cutting board. So let's get to this. Now, what I have are the physical components that you'll need to play this game. All right. And again, the starter sets, I'll pull up the website and all that stuff later on in the episode. But yeah, so hang on, I'm just trying to, there we go. Ah, that's a much better camera angle. So let's head on over and check this stuff up. Hey, look at us here. Isn't that fun? So what you'll need to play this game are some very simple components, all right? Now, this game uses D8s instead of D6s, and I really admire that because D6s, there's not a lot of variation, but D20s, there's too much. So I'm a big fan of games that use D8s and D10s, like this, and the other skirmish game that I love playing, Carnival. Yeah, that's cute, Neon. You must be having a day at work, I can tell you. Pet your dragon. The one that's on your desk. The one that's on your desk. So what we have here, okay, is we have our D8s. You need a pile of those things. Our specialty dice, and these are command dice. And command dice are very, very fun. Wait, focus. Thank you. Command dice are very, very fun. You also need activation markers to say, I move this figure. And of course, blood tokens, because there are hit points involved with some of the heavier things. Now, if you guys notice, what isn't on this list are a tape measure. No tape measures. Because this game is played on a grid, it goes so within a cube type thought process. Now, for you 3D printers out there, I will say that this game is perfect for your generic sci-fi minis. Okay, really perfect. I'm a big fan of the generic sci-fi minis, especially because of one faction from this game. And if you guys want to, leave a comment in the, leave a comment like way over there, like over there in the comment section to let me know if you guys want me to go over the factions in this game. Okay. And the other thing we have here are, hang on. Yeah. The other thing that we have over here, which I'm a fan of, is the data sheets. Now, there is a website that I'll pull up that you can actually use for free. It allows you up to 2 data sheets that you can store for free, but it lets you print anything, okay? And so it sets up everything, and you have your various little stats, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go for the centuries. I believe, yeah, the century instead of the enforcer sentry, and a strider. Okay, the sentry and a strider. And we got those guys set up pretty cool, pretty neatly. Okay. And I'm going to walk you guys through the data sheet. What we have here is speed. Okay, on our strider, speed. Now you will see that the stat always looks like a fraction. Now in this game, you have action points, okay? Essentially, you can do a long action, 2 short actions, or 1 long action. What does that mean? You can do 2 things, okay? You can either move one square on your speed for a short action, or you can take a long action to run or charge, which they call assault. All right? You've got your ranged attack, your Ra. Okay, just rah. And in this game, the stats are just like one-page rules or just like 40K, where you have a number plus, meaning that number or higher. So you've got rah, as in ranged. You also have fighting, which is stabby stab, punchy punch. Survival. This is your defense roll. Okay. Your armor stat, which we'll get into that. Your hit points and your size. Now your size is very, very, very important, and we will get to that first. Now, every model has a size, all right? The size of each model is interesting in the sense of all right, let me talk about the cubes first. I said this game is played on a grid, okay? Each grid is about 3 inches tall, okay? 3 inches tall. Now that is super duper uber important, okay? Because each one is 3 inches by 3 inches by 3 inches. It's a 3-inch cube. Hey, Xenothades. And that 3-inch cube, all right, that 3-inch cube is very, very, very important for the game because unlike a lot of games that we learn from other companies, this game is specifically made to be played in 3 dimensions, okay? However, each cube has a size rating of 4 for each faction. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's very, very, very simple, okay? Within a cube, your faction can fit 4 size points of models inside that cube. And the opposing faction can also fit up to 4 sizes in that same cube, all right? Now, this little guy right here. I love this little guy. This guy looks so cool. It has very much a Dreadnought vibe on it. Okay, it comes on a 60mm base, which is kind of neat. This is a Strider. These are the stats that we are looking at. All right, and this guy has a size of 4. So inside the cube, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the only member of the team that you can fit in it, although the opposing team can also fit up to 4 models inside the same cube. Okay, up to size 4. So this guy is a size 2 and 2 size 1s, so that's 4. You're really, really piling it in, all right? We can just pile them all in there, all right? And that being the case, in this game, size matters. Let's see. Does size 5 exist? Special units that limit the opposing team to 3 in the square. To my knowledge, Neon Arlecchino, I've not come across a size 5 figure. Okay? Not a tank or a Strider or anything like that. There might be one in the army level game, but don't quote me on that. Let's see here. So, then we have our loadout, our weapons type. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Xenothades. I'm on the big screen. I'm so big. Hello, everyone else in the room. Let's see here. So now that we've gone over all the stats, speed, range attack, close attack or fight, survival as in defense, armor, hit points, and size. And it also has the base size on the thing. And the base size is essentially, when you're building the model, this is the size base that you're using. Or if you're like me and you didn't grow up with that much money, then this is the size base that you're playing with for that proxy. All right. So that is a really, really big thing. Now, I want to talk line of sight on this game because it is very, very important. Okay. Now, line of sight in this game comes down to, imagine the model or the base size. And if, with that base size, okay, you can put a tube on it. Put a tube on the base size. Okay? If you can see everything in that tube, you've got a clear shot. If you can't, they have cover. If you can't see anything, then you can't make the shot. Now this, my friends, is super duper important, okay? Because we have our 3x3 foot cube, all right? This means this guy right here, if my little guy right here is trying to shoot him, hey, I'm trying to shoot that guy. All he can see is that little gun nubbin. That little gun nubbin right there. Okay, that's it. He can't get a line of sight because he can't make a cube out of the base. Now, if that were the case, there would be cover. So there it is. So as you can see, yeah, the footprint of the base size does matter. Okay? Now, yes, that does matter, Neon. For the line of sight reasons that I'm getting to right now. It's almost like I'm right inside your head. Now, here's a fun bit. Looking through here, you see what we have there? We've got a little bit of line of sight through the building. Huh? Let me see if I can get the camera down that low. There we go. Yeah, look at that guy right there. Can he see? Yeah, he can see a little bit of the guy's base, but if he were over here, there we go. Yeah, look at that guy right there. So you see? Boom. All right. Yeah, table level camera. That's one of the things I've been working on for the Patreon, Xanathates. So there is what we have with the line of sight. Now, why does all of this crap matter? Well, we will get to that when it comes down to the other stuff. Now, for movement, okay? Movement is really, really fun in the sense of this. As I said, you have a short action or a long action that can be done. Now, since this is the future, everybody's got climbing gear. That's just one of the things that happens. So, if we are in a situation here where our little guy is going, there's a zombie guy up there, and I want to go stab him in the mouth, right? We have inside here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's our cube. Now, he can, if he chose, take one short action to the next cube, and he has a clear line of sight to that guy for a shot. So he used one of his actions to move to a square and another action to line up the shot. Hey, hey. Isn't that fun? All right. However, if he were here, he could also decide to assault or move. So what we're doing is, again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, when you move into a square, you can move anywhere within that square. Okay. So if we're in this square and he's here, he can move one square all the way there. That's one square of movement. I'll do the overhead in a few to really show you guys how that works. But if our little guy says, I want to climb up here and stab the guy, all he has to do is use one movement point to climb up. And now that he's entered a square with a dude, he gets the free action of attack. All right. And we'll get to combat in a few. All right. So that is the place that we're at with movement. All right. Now, if we are in a different scenario, such as our guy, 1 square, 2 square. If our guy is back here and wants to stab the guy, he can easily, oh wait, that should be there. He can easily go from square to square in one move, and then up one square in another move, and that would be the assault action. You guys get it? Okay, good. That's about it. That is movement in a nutshell. Okay. Now, when it comes to these things, I really like that because in games like this that use things like true line of sight, there are really, really cool things that go along with it. All right. True line of sight, one of my favorite things. And again, no need for tape measure because I've seen over the course of my gaming career all these people that do measuring in inches and then moving by centimeters, i.e., where's your base in relation to where it started. Just sometimes, most of the time, it's careless. Sometimes it's cheating. But how can you tell the difference? Okay, so that's a really tough thing for me to deal with when that kind of thing happens. So this game, you just think in the cube. Okay, you just think in the cube. And in this game, you can go inside the cubes, outside the cubes, all that stuff. What you can't do is you can't walk through walls that don't have windows or doors. All right, unless you have a figure that y'all know how gaming goes. So the other thing that you need for this game are 8-sided dice. All right. Now, let me just pull this up real quick. I should have brought my orcs. I've got those. I'm using the infected colonies because who doesn't have zombies, right? So let's get to a sort of combat phase, okay? Let's head back to the table, okay? Now, when we're here, all right, we're here. Now, we've got attacker's dice because attack is in red, and defender. Now, when you're doing anything in this game, you start with 3 dice, all right? 3 dice. Now, let's say we did an assault, okay? Well, since he ran and moved, assault being cheered, he gets an additional die, okay? That is what he gets to attack with. He gets an additional die. And all of the modifiers in this game determine your dice rolls, not your required number, not your target number. And I like that a lot because it keeps it really simple. So this enforcer, speed of 1, he has a fight of 4+, and jump pack, recon, tactician, special orders, stalwart. Okay. So this guy is gonna go up close with his, close combat weapon. Let's pretend he has one. And he is going to do a fight. So he needs a 4+ on the dice, which is awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Xanathades, for the Prime subscription. Awesome. Yeah, an additional dice to kill an additional guy. An additional die to cause an additional wound. Okay. That is important. Now I'm going to pull this up real quick because this is Enforcer. I'm going to pull up the Asterian stats as well, okay, to say this marionette. Let's say it's a marionette, all right? Yay, it's a marionette. Or, no, a cipher. Cipher is good, okay, because a cipher has, yeah. Oh, no, they're all ranged guys anyways. So, our Enforcer here, okay, our little Enforcer guy, look at the little, oh, I didn't download this. All right, I thought I did. Download this. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so our Enforcer captain, all right, he has a fight of 4+. Okay, so on his dice, okay, we've got a 4+ versus the Asterian's fight. Yeah, the Cypher's fight of 5+, and a survival of 5+. Now, this game is really, really fun in the sense of, as I said, we're working on that right now. So we've got our guy who charged, and you always start with 3 dice. And he charged, so he gets a 4. He gets 4 dice, and he needs 4+. Now, our little enemy guy right here, our little enemy, that's this guy. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. So yeah, so we've got this guy versus that guy, right? Now this guy is coming in with 4 dice. Now this guy gets to choose if he goes defense or counterattack. And this is an option for every single close combat in this game. All right? I really like that idea. It's, am I going full defense or am I going to try and counterattack? We'll go through each scenario. Now, this guy is just attacking, so he rolls 4 dice. Now, since he needs, since as an enforcer, he needs a 4 up, 4 or better, because he's a cipher cap or enforcer captain, he gets 1 hit. Okay. Now the defense guy, he is going to first survive. That is going to be what he chooses to do. All right. So he's going to go for survival, and he starts with 3, and he has nothing else going for him. Now, his stats, let's take a look at his stats, are a fight of 5, a survival of 5, an armor of 1, 1 hit point, and 1 size. Okay, now that is very important. All right, so our guy decides to go full defense, right? He goes full defense. I'm going to hold him off. And he rolls his dice. We've got 1 success, and he needs a 5 or higher versus 2 successes. So this success cancels out that, and he's still defending, and he's good. He takes no damage. Now, let's replay the scenario if the guy decided to fight back. All right. So this guy has 4 dice to attack. Yeah. A whole 4 dice to attack. He needs a 5 or higher. Now, a 6 and an 8. And I'm glad an 8 came up. All right, this makes me happy because this game has exploding 8s. All right, which means this 8 gives me an additional attack. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's an 8, which gives me an additional attack. Okay. We almost had an 8 train going because you can do that with 8s until you no longer roll an 8. So we've got 3 successes. And now this guy's going to fight back. Now he needs 5 pluses. Okay. That was terrible. So of the 3 attacks, okay, this guy said, I'm sitting on this. So this guy, his success cancels 1 out, but he also has an armor of 1, which means he removes 1, but 1 wound still gets through, and he's dead. Now, if the roll had been different, let's say he hit an 8 train. All aboard the 8 train. Okay, there we go. So, against those 3 hits, it would have then been 1 success down, 1 success down, and he has an armor point down. And this guy would have taken those 2 points. Or sorry, you remove the armor first. But yeah, and this guy would have taken the other 2. And with 1 hit point, he would have died. So in the game, that's pretty much it. What are the odds of an 8 train? 1 in 8, then 64. Truth be told, Neon, the last game I played when I taught our guy Mel, who was the guest on the show that day, when I taught him how to play, both of us hit an 8 train in that game. An 8 train that was like 5 deep. It was really funny. And that is where the dice start to tell stories. Now, when it comes to range attacks, the attacks are just the same, sort of. All right. Let's get back to that ranged attack scenario. Okay, so let's say our guy, let us say that our guy, our little guy right there, okay, let's take a look at our little guy right there, okay, is, let's say that this guy wants to make a shot. All right, this guy, he wants to make a shot, and he's in this square 2 squares away. Well, his gun has a range, and all range in this game is measured by squares, of course. The range on the weapon is 6. So he's got 6 squares, or 36 inches of a 24-inch board that he can make a shot from. Now, if this guy is his target, he can totally see every bit of him. All right? So he's got a clear line of sight onto the guy. All right, so let's head back to the dice rolling so that we can take a look at that. All right, so the dude has a ranged attack of 4 up. Okay, he has 3, but he also has the privilege of clear line of sight, and clear line of sight gives you 2 more dice to roll. All right, and again, he's looking for 5s. Oh no, for 4s are better. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Now our defending guy, okay, has to go full defense because there's no counter shooting, unfortunately. At least not to my knowledge in this game. So, he's got 4 successes, but Solar, he's only rolling 3 dice. Exactly. But what if he hits the 8 train? All right. What if he rides that 8 train? Well, let's see. What is his defense? His defense is... Yeah, the Cypher's full-out defense is 5+, so he's got 2 successes. So first, he has 1 point of armor. Boom. 2 successes. But 1 point still gets in. Now, if he had gotten an 8, then he would have got another roll. And if he got 2 8s in a row, 3 8s in a row, we see how that happens. Now, I want to get to the randomness in this game, okay? Because there's always a bit of randomness. That's what makes most games games, right? This is what makes most games not chess. And that comes in with these guys. Now, these guys are our command dice. Yeah, you say ARE followed by OUR, and see if you do any well. Hang on. Boop, boop, boop. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's all 6. All right. So this game is an alternating activation game, which means you activate a model or unit, then your opponent activates a model or unit. They get their activation token, and when everybody has activated all of their things, that's the end of the round. Well, there are certain fun little advantages in this game. All right? Now, these are your command dice. Now let's head back to the character sheet so that I can point something out, okay? Because again, this right here is pretty awesome, okay? So let's head back to that. Now, we see on our Enforcer Captain, they have a bunch of special things, but we're looking at this. Tactician, okay? Tactician is essentially the command number of every captain that you have on your team, and you have to have a commander, all right? Now, this commander has a tactician of 2. What does that mean? That means at the beginning of the round, he can roll 2 of these dice. Oh, look at that. And if you have 50% or more of your team, you can re-roll as many of these dice as you want. Okay? That's better. Okay. That's actually a lot better. Now, these dice come in 6 flavors. Okay? What we have here is underlined arrow. This underlined arrow gives, hang on, boo. There we go. This underlined arrow can be turned in and used to give a model 1 cube of free movement in a turn. Okay? So if you have a movement of 1/2, this will give you a free movement of 1. You can only use a command die once per figure, okay? However, you can spend as many command dice on that figure as long as they give different benefits. They're kind of like stratagems in Warhammer 40k. So this gives an additional movement. This gives a +1 die bonus to any roll that requires dice. This gives a second fight phase. Okay, a second fight phase. That is just stupid. I hit him once, now I'm turning this die in, and I'm going to make another attack. Isn't that fun? And that second fight phase comes with no penalty to your dice rolls. This gives a second shot. Okay, a second shot. So if my guy shot the dude and it didn't work, or he didn't kill him off the board, he can turn that in and take another shot. This allows you to cheat in a dice game. As I said, this game is alternating activations. You activate a model, I activate a model. However, if you turn this in, you can activate an additional model for your turn. Okay? An additional model. Just think about that. And turning in these dice per turn just gets stupid. Okay? And finally, this die is our specialty die. A lot of characters come with the ability to do something weird. You can do a special thing like activate this ability to take a non-line of sight shot. Activate this ability to blah, blah, blah. You need your special blah dice to do that. Okay, that is what this die is for. Every commander has a tactician rating, and with that tactician rating, you roll that many dice per turn. Okay, now those are the basics of the game. That is literally the it of it. That's how you play the game. Of course, there are keywords and other stuff, and there's a chart for that. But those right there, my friends, are the basics of the basics. That's it. Those are the game mechanics. And I freaking love it. I really freaking love it. There are a lot of factions in the game. All right? There are a lot of factions in the game. But that is the main stuff that you need to know about. That's it. Now, there are other things, like the game comes with little chits, little markers, and some of them are objective tokens. Some of them are little like grenades that you can leave on the board. So you get to a thing, you use a short action to pick up the grenade, and then you can throw the grenade, and the grenade will affect an entire square. Certain weapons have certain weapons qualities. There's all that stuff that generally comes down with games. Now, since we have a little bit of time, okay, just a little bit of time. Oh, really? But it was right there. I am so mad at that. I'm going to reload the page. Something is up with the Mantic site, but I'm going into the Mantic site, and I am going to pull up the starter kit for this game, because the starter kit for this game is super duper reasonable. And that's something I really appreciate. And when I say super duper reasonable, guys, okay, this is very important. Let's take a look at this starter kit. In the box, Fall of Omega 3, all right, you get a two-sided gaming mat. You get a set of command dice, a set of D8s, two full armies, the entire rule book, the the force list, which are all the stats for all of the armies and all of the figures that came out at the time. You get the little chits, and you get a bunch of terrain. Okay, all of this stuff. All right, and when I say full army, I mean you get all this terrain. This is the infected force, which comes with a little plague dog here. You get your captain. You get some, regular zombies. Then you get some special commandos. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 models in one side. Oh, yeah, this is zombies and Asterians. And you get the Asterian battle force, which comes with an ogre in sci-fi armor, a drone, and in this game, Asterians are the space elves, and they're pretty freaking cool in the sense of they send remote control robots to do their fighting. But you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 models, plus the other 15 or 16 you got, plus the terrain, plus the rule book, plus the army forces, plus the dice. And the retail price says £95, but that comes up to, at the current exchange rate, $140. $140 for all those minis and the rule books and the codex for every army that they have in the game and the terrain and some scatter terrain. So all of that stuff for $140. That is a stupid bargain. And that bargain is what comes when you buy direct. Okay, that's buying directly from Mantic Games themselves. All right, let's take a look at how much these sets are going for on Amazon. All right, yeah, there you go. A mat costs about $40. So there we go. Gaming mat, yeah, it costs about $40. The terrain booster is $70. A Strider is like $20 versus the $60 that you would pay Games Workshop. There we go. Oh, it looks like it's out. The Marauder sets, the terrain crate, and what's this down here? Oh, a bunch of D&D stuff. Now, I haven't bought any Deadzone terrain. Not gonna lie. Yeah, this looks like the old edition. Oh, oh no, that's Firefight. So Deadzone starter. Let's just take a look at that. Those are faction starters. Am I looking at Firefight? No, I'm looking at Deadzone starters. Let's see here. The terrain booster is 70. All right, looks like Amazon is out, but we can check eBay as well. And if you look on eBay, you're going to find it for like 95, 96 bucks. So, real talk, guys. For the cost of 2 tanks in Warhammer 40K, you can buy a starter kit of a very fun game with 2 full and complete armies for the same price. Now, I haven't learned how to play this one, but this will be my next Mantic showcase. This is Firefight, which is their army level game. And this is a full army of enforcers, a full army of, essentially, Space Marine and Orcs with the rule book. Yeah, with the rule book and the codexes and the dice and the special dice. And let's see, Amazon is asking $96 for this thing. You know, if you really wanted to, you could pick up let me double check here to see if it's available because this is Amazon. So, Deadzone Mantic books. Deadzone Mantic rule book. And that's what we're going to do. Yeah, the rule book. Third edition is what we're looking for here. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, you should be able to get the rule book somewhere for like $35, $36. Is this? That's second edition. That's, yeah, Deadzone second edition, where the rules were a bit different. But you can download most of the rules also from Mantic. And yeah. And again, the force lists are all there. There is a Mantic game army builder as well, and you can do all that stuff. So, quite honestly, if you've got some Warhammer 40k miniatures laying around that you don't use anymore, now one of the things that I did, and this was a really big one for me, because as you guys know, I'm not swimming in money, okay? And that is where these come in, okay? And I will do sort of a show on these. It'll be a quick video. All right, but these are magnetic tiles that lots and lots of kids have that I literally just spray primed gray and put stickers on them. And if you guys want the art for the stickers, let me know and I'll put it up in I'll put the PDFs in the Discord, okay? But yeah, and these I build up the game that hard cuz yeah, these are well, you guys know what these things are. You guys have seen these 100 times, all over the place. There's a lot of different videos currently. Yeah, a lot of videos currently showing how to make terrain out of these things. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Magnetic blocks. Okay, I forgot the name. Oh, there we are. Picasso. So, yeah, these particular things with a quick coat of paint. Yeah, with a quick coat of paint are Picasso magnetic tiles. If y'all got kids, y'all probably already have some of these. Okay, and these happen to be these individual tiles are about 3 inches by 3 inches. And they're very cool for putting together. They store easily. Yep, paint and stickers on magnetic tiles. I would do a full show on that, but literally it only takes about 15 minutes. I got a few big sets. I don't care where you are in the United States. There are loads of parents selling these on Facebook Marketplace all over the country because their kids don't play with them anymore. And again, they stack thusly, they store easily. And again, I just put stickers on them. Some people paint them. Some people go the full artist model hobby thing. And again, if you guys want these industrial stickers, let me know and I will put them up in the Discord. And literally, it took me a day to do 200 of these tile pieces. And the storage box is the storage box that they came in. I just spray painted it black. So they're portable, they're quick, they're very fun. A friend of mine came over last week, saw that I had these, and said, "Oh my God, I'm going to show my son a different way to play with his magnetic tiles." And I'm like, yeah, because we play with toys, guys. And yes, there is an artistry to tabletop minis, and I am not going to cheapen and diminish that. All right. And I mean that. I'm not going to cheapen or diminish the work and talent that so many people have in the artistry that they show. I know a lot of people who went to art school and they're using that knowledge to paint miniatures. People like Ninjon Maniac. My favorite is Dana Howell. She is amazing. And I'm not diminishing their stuff. They are doing art. Okay. However, to get into these things, you don't have to lock yourself in the box of doing art. Okay. Um, I paint minis and paint terrain and stuff so that I have something to play with. You see, when I was a kid, there were loads and loads of commercials while I was watching cartoons. All right. Things like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, or the King of Toys, or should I say, yeah, the King and the Queen of Toys when I was growing up, Transformers and G.I. Joe. And those guys were Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Barbie. Okay, no one's taken Barbie down. That's just not going to happen. But Transformers and G.I. Joe got taken down by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But every time I saw those commercials, I saw the set design of the commercials. So these kids are sitting up and they're playing with their toys, but they have these elaborate backgrounds and they have like buildings. Like they didn't just have He-Man. They had He-Man, the Castle Grayskull playset, but they also had like train terrain with hills and other buildings and stuff. And I'm like, dude, your commercial is making my toys look stupid. I don't want that stuff. Now I'm an adult um, with an entire manufactorium of 3D printers. And that is where my heart goes when it comes to doing miniatures. I'm not in this to do art. I make toys to play games with. Okay. I like to play. And if that's where you're at, then a lot of this stuff can definitely be for you. Absolutely be for you. I know some people use the I word. It breaks my immersion. And I don't know if it's because of my ADD or my PTSD, but I just can't wrap my head around that. Um, Again, I kind of get it from the cinematic point of view. I don't really like using the table cam because you guys can see one of my green screens in the studio and see the rest of the studio, and it ruins the illusion of the Wizard's Tower. And I get that. However, when I'm playing games, and I guess this is, you know what it comes from? It comes from my time in the late 90s and early 2000s where the people that were in my social circle didn't like me anymore. They didn't want me around and they wouldn't say so. So everything I did, they were looking for reasons to just make me go away. They wouldn't fire me. They were trying to make me quit. And I only realized that now, 20 years later. They wanted me to behave in a certain way or do certain things or apologize for stuff that I didn't know I'd done wrong. Okay, there's shows that can be done about that, but that's for the meeting tonight down by the docks. And so when it comes to this breaks my immersion, the major thing I hear is I don't want to play. I don't want to do that thing. I showed one of my old friends in my gaming circle Star Trek Attack Wing when it first came out, and I got a bunch of the stuff because I was rolling pretty hard financially. And he played a game, but his actions were very much, I'm only doing this to shut you up. And when I asked him what he thought about the game, all of his complaints added up to, it's not the game that I like playing. Okay? Not that I don't like the game on its merit, it's just I only like one game, and there shall only be one game in my life. And so that's definitely one of those things that I see and I look out for. But I enjoy playing with toys. So when I hear things break my immersion, I don't know if they have a different type of imagination from what I do, or they're just looking to leave my company. I haven't quite figured that out. I'm a bit socially inept because I come from a different culture than most of the people that I hang out with. So, and my culture is very, nah, son, I don't want to do that. So, and that's the language I understand. I'm trying to learn more. So, all that being said, yeah, paint and stickers on magnetic tiles or repainting your toys. A lot of crafting channels did this thing about a year ago where it was the water gun challenge or the Nerf gun challenge, where they would go to the dollar store and buy one of those Nerf guns that you know weren't going to shoot anything made of foam, and they would cut them up and make buildings out of them for their tabletop minis games, mainly Warhammer 40K. I think that's amazing. I really do. Especially, I'm middle aged, guys. I really am. Which means most of my friends either have children that are absolute teenagers and they don't want their toys anymore, or um, they have grandkids that don't care about toys and just like tablets and phones. Good for me, because I can go raid their toy boxes, put some paint on some stuff, and have more stuff for miniatures gaming. But we'll get to that when I start up the show Hobby Hall again. We're going to do all that stuff. But thank you guys for being here today. If you guys are interested, you guys can head over to Mantic Games. I believe, yeah, Mantic Games. They've got a few. The biggest game that they have going right now is, I believe, Kings of War. And that is a rank and flank fantasy game that really has the flavor of Warhammer Fantasy Battles that a lot of people dig. Not really my bag, but that's okay. And of course, they can, they'll do the thing where they show you how much stuff costs and things, but their interface is a little weird where the main thing you're looking at, oh, there we go. Yeah. Now I got it working. So yeah, this the 2-player starter is $140, from the main thing. Your booster packs with all that, we're talking $42 for, or $45 after taxes and shipping and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 models. One of them looks really cool. Got the Plague Mutant boosters and terrain for like $80. And that's at Mantic Games. You can look up Deadzone here. Isn't that fun? Okay, I'm gonna go there, and then I'm gonna scroll down and then scroll back up. Nope, that didn't work. Either way, it's a weird one. And of course, you can look for them in your friendly local gaming store. There's Kings of War. Yeah, Kings of War is a rank and flank game. Very fantasy. You've got your orcs, you've got your dwarves, you've got a whole bunch of different stuff. It's a really cool company. Their stuff is really, really reasonably priced. Okay. Like Neon Arlecchino's vermin thing. How much would that be? Mason Lab. Oh, the new Mason Labs management booster is kind of cool. For about $25 American. Yes, I can do a bit of the exchange rate in my head. It is a thing. Boo, getting started. Boo. There we go. Factions is what I'm looking for. Ah, there we are. Deadzone. Let's check the Vermin starter kit. For Neon Arlecchino, since he loves the vermine. I think it costs like $45 and your friendly $36. There we go. Yeah. $36 for that starter kit. Okay. You get a boss. Like you get 5 models for $35. And it's a really good deal. It's a very good deal. And the booster packs cost about the same. So for about $70, you'll have a whole army. Can you say that for Kill Team? That's my question. Ooh. Forge Father Artificers, because a lot of us wonder what Dr. Octopus would be if he was a fantasy dwarf. So that's the thing. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for joining me in this little tutorial. If you have any questions, comments about the game, or what other games that you might want to see me do a feature on, hit me up on the Discord or send an email to backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. Also hit me up on Twitter. You can also hit me up on Instagram, all at Back in the Deck. You can hit me up on TikTok at BidP, or if you're on Facebook, join Deckers on the Book. There you can see me post pictures of a lot of this stuff. I'm practicing getting my proper shots for the playthroughs and stuff like that, because I really want to do battle reports, but I'm trying to figure out how to make battle reports less labor intensive but still decent quality, outside of posting stills and saying what happened. Those aren't the kind I like to watch, so I'm trying to figure out how to do something close to the kind I like to watch without the overrun production value. But with all that being said, guys, thank you for joining me. Get out there, play some games, hang with your friends, spend some time with some kids. And if anybody tells you that you can't like the games you like or have the hobbies you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or your budget, you can just tell those guys to take any of those cards and put them back in the deck. All right, I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer. Special thanks to all you guys. Spofo, welcome. I know this is your first time, as well as Zero Vero, and Good Girl Sage, or Good Girl's Age. All three of you guys, thank you. Also, Autoeum, and who else is new? Oh, A-OK, you're back. It's been a dog's age. Yeah, and Pencil Mage, thanks for showing up again. So with all that, guys, thank you very much, and I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I will see you next time on the dark side of the room.